Good afternoon from here in Sunshine, Florida. I am just getting signed on a little bit early so we can have those of you that are joining us get logged in, get set up, join the video. I've put in the, well, first, welcome to the Mentors and Mastermind Mondays, where we come together to connect you with mentors, mastermind. You get to talk about challenges, things that you want to support. Each time we have a specific theme that we kind of tie to, all around collaboration. And so if you are just joining us, you can click, there's actually an option to where you can join to ask to be a presenter or ask to be a speaker. If you do that, that allows you to come in and can collaborate and join us. Hi, Chris. How are you? I haven't seen you forever. Huge virtual hug. Chris is a branding expert, so join us. You probably have some great input. So basically, if you just hit, I guess there's a request button, and you can request to be a presenter. This allows you to join in. So ideally, and we'll get started here, well, it's 1 o'clock. Ideally, this came about after we've been doing some events here locally, a part of a very large incubator called CEO Space Business Incubator. And, oh good, we have 2 people requesting to join. You both have been approved. And one of the things that I found over the years that have been really instrumental in accelerating my business and success were these four key things, and we talked about them on the last Mastermind Monday. But you know, one of the key things is your pitch. Your elevator pitch, like what do you say? How do you communicate? How important communication is, and that clarity to ask for what you want or what you need. If you're just joining us, welcome to the Mentors and Mastermind Monday Google Hangout, where we come together to strategize, give you access to mentors, and also we can focus on any goals or challenges that you might have. You can request to join us as a presenter, which I highly suggest. This is a great way to get some very interactive coaching and support of the mastermind, or you can just put things in the chat room. But the first thing is obviously the pitch, being able to clearly articulate what it is that you need, or what is it that you need support with. And a lot of people that come to the events, they're not certain. They're a little bit either out of sequence, or you know, the universal thing that everybody needs is I need more money, or I need more clients, or sponsors or donors. And so that tends to be the universal thing. But if we back that down and kind of see, okay, well, what is it that you sell? What is it that you're offering? What is the request? How are you requesting it? That is a key point of the language that they articulate. So that, you know, one thing is the pitch. The other thing that I found is key is collaboration, joint ventures, and finding people to play with. And really, I went through this time in my life where I, you know, had built a huge business and lost everything. And I remember that feeling of being alone and nobody really knowing what I was going through, and being scared to actually admit what I was going through, because, you know, people had this picture of everything was so wonderful and great. And through collaboration, I, you know, discovered that we're really never alone. That there are so many people out there that want to help and support and be a part of and contribute. And so, you know, this Mentors and Mastermind Monday is really designed to have that community that you can collaborate with. Because how many of you have had somebody call you and they needed help? I mean, did you say yes? Did you like it? Did you feel good? I mean, obviously we want to be able to say no. There's times where we have to say no, and it doesn't mean that you're, you know, bad or anything like that. But most of the time, I know when individuals call me and they're making that request for help, you know, obviously I'm going to do what I can to support you. So collaboration is the second thing. The other thing is mentors. Being able to plug into mentors, people that have been there, done that, and have the map or the plan to be able to get there. Oh, Chris, I'm so hoping that you can join via video. There is a direct link in the chat room. You can actually click in the on that link, or I did post it on my Facebook wall. It's facebook.com/Shannon Gronich, Gronich. That should be a live link that should just kind of bypass the whole system and get you into the Hangout via video and audio. And if you're, you know, in your PJs and you don't want people to see, or your hair standing up, there is, oh, there we go. There is a button that you can actually click to shut off the video. It's in the middle and the top, and you can actually shut off your video. Now, I have two other individuals, mentors, that are supposed to be joining us. One is a retired attorney, and maybe he's having some challenges getting in, and Joyce Nelson, who's amazing at strategies and collaboration, and somebody that everybody wants to know. And so with that, mentors are individuals that have been instrumental in my life. I know at one point I had 9 coaches and 9 mentors all at the same time. You know, one was in parenting. I think we all need, if you have kids, it's great to have role models for parenting, financial, team building, marketing. I mean, there's so many realms of expertise, especially if you're running a business, that you can get support with. And why I think mentors are so important is that a lot of times, at least for me, I know when I'm working with somebody, let's say around events, I see people that they're excited, they're enthusiastic, which is great. You know, you want to have that. And at the same time, there are certain things that may, that may not be the best route to take. There could be things that you've forgotten to include in your budget. There could be, mentors for me have also been instrumental in making some key introductions. And so I think that everybody needs to surround themselves with mentors. I used to have this thing, and I still do, but not as active now that I have a 2-year-old that I'm chasing around. But I would take a millionaire to lunch every month. I would find somebody that was successful, and they don't necessarily have to be a millionaire, but I would find somebody and really stretch myself and say, can I treat you to lunch? Can I get to know you? And I would ask questions about their life, about their business, maybe challenges that they've had, and how did they overcome them. I have a dear woman here locally. It was so funny. I was in a car wreck, and I was picked up by Enterprise in their van, and she was sitting in the front seat and really busy on the phone, and she had, a bunch of gold jewelry and gold necklaces, and just a beautiful, elegant woman. And from hearing her talk, I was like, wow, she's, somebody I definitely want to know. And I asked her for lunch, and we just created this amazing bond. She shared with me so much wisdom, both on a personal level regarding relationships and in business. And one time she even sponsored one of my events out of the blue. So stretching yourself to get in touch with mentors is another great thing to do. And then Mastermind. This is not a new concept. This is something that's been around forever and ever and ever. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, developing that strategy of masterminding. So at the Business Acceleration Summit, the events we do 4 times a year, we put people, surround them with all 4 of those items that I feel are essential to accelerating your business. So Mastermind, that's where you can clearly, come to the table with a goal or a challenge and let others contribute. And what's key with the Mastermind is to know that, your job is just to share it. This is what I'd like support with. This is what my challenge, this is my goal. And listen, and even if people are sharing things that you might know, you might have tried before, just being mindful and taking it in, because you could have a gem there, and I've sat in mastermind groups where, the individual spends, let's say you have 15 minutes to focus, individual will spend time telling their story. Well, I'm from Florida and this and that and things that aren't really relevant. And I think that if you have the opportunity to get into a mastermind group, speaking as clearly as you can and just letting those gems come and taking notes, and whatever is relevant, let it stick, and whatever's not, just let it pass. At the heart of this, what's and taking notes, whatever is relevant, let it stick, and whatever's not, just let it, because we got some feedback, but yay, I'm so excited. Chris, yay, I can't wait to introduce you. I haven't talked to you forever, but I have met Chris and I've seen some of his branding work. He is remarkable. I don't know if that's still what you're doing. Probably. I know that you're so good at it. I doubt that you would stop doing it. But with the mastermind, being able to let people contribute and take that in. So Chris, one of the things about this series in this group is that I'm committed to letting individuals share who they are, what they're doing, and join in the collaboration. So Chris, I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and tell everybody who you are and what you're doing, and that'll help with the feedback. That'll be perfect.
Great. Sorry about the feedback there.
That's okay.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks for sharing that link. I finally found it on Facebook under your listing there, so that's great. I'd rather be on Hangouts and seeing you. And I do have my Monday morning chill out planning appearance right now, so forgive that. But it's really nice to see you, first of all.
Oh,
it's been a long time.
Yes.
For sure. So yeah, I'm just checking in. I just was reviewing events for the week, and it was like, I'm just going to say hi and jump in and reconnect and see what the conversation looks like and how I can contribute. So
perfect. Do you want to tell everybody what you're up to?
Sure. Yeah. Essentially, as you probably know, I'm a brand identity specialist. My specific passion is sitting down with entrepreneurs, visionaries, people who have great ideas, and figuring out how to take that and connect that vision into the marketplace with powerful, inspired, authentic, aligned brands. And so specifically, I work a lot with the naming, tagline, message positioning, language side of brands. And I pretty much do that for all clients, that kind of brand alignment in the language. And then a lot of times I then help them with the visual expression of that, a lot of logo design. And I get talked into making websites here and there as well. So, so it's a lot of fun.
Well, you're great. I've seen your work over the years, and I know the impact that you've had for specific companies, and it's definitely Google quality. I mean, I use Google as a platform because look at all that they've done to get out there. And I have seen your logos. They're definitely, you've come up with creative names, but with a way to where it does stick. It's like I still have things that you've done that stick in my brain. And do you mind sharing your website so that people can check you out on their own too?
Sure. It's brandweaver.tv. And pretty simple. So like Dreamweaver, but Brandweaver. So if you don't hear it clearly. And I've been with Brandweaver as a name since 2006. So I guess it's 10 years.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So is there anything that you need support with, or challenges that you want to brainstorm? Or do you want to, is there anything that you want to add with the 4 things with accelerating your business? I don't know if you caught that. If sometimes when people are doing the technology, I talked about obviously your pitch and your language and being able to articulate, which you know how important that is. Then we talked about collaboration, finding ways to joint venture, strategize, connect with others, mentors, and mastermind. Do you have anything that you want to add to that, or something that you want to focus on with the mastermind?
Thank you. That's really kind. I completely agree with everything you just said. Here in Salt Lake City, there's a pitch class that I oftentimes teach in networking, and a lot of I think I got so much out of CEO space over the years, and it really informed who I become as a brander with really tight, compact language. And so obviously coming up with a great pitch is fundamental for sure, and something that I think about a lot. In my personal pitch, essentially, that came out of CEO space is around expressing passion, essentially. I think if you can come from a place of where you're getting your heart front and center, like in expressing, not in like, in a way that's like, here's what I'm trying to be in the market, which we have to, obviously understand the market and see how we fit, but to really just come at, here's my passion in the pitch, and then to make a case for how you've been able to affect people in that passion, I think makes a huge difference. I am definitely pitching for new projects. I just completed a whole bunch of projects and I'm available. So it's like, oh my gosh, I'm like open. So I'm, looking for where I get to go in and basically work one-on-one with an organization or an individual who is ready to up level and express themselves at the next level, moving towards world class, if not perfectly world class, getting in that direction. That's what I love to do. So I'm definitely pitching for that, and people feel free to contact me to have a conversation, or to just understand where your brand is currently and what your challenges are. I'm happy to be of assistance that way.
Awesome. Well, it's interesting that, so those of you that are joining us, and those of you that are just joining us, you can put a goal or a challenge in the chat room. You should have a chat room there that you can share, or you can join us via video. There's a live link in the chat room, or on Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/Shannon Gronich, there's a live link there that you can click in and bypass right through. And I know we also have replay too. We have a lot of people that signed up that are going to watch this after the fact. So Chris, it's really interesting that you mentioned brand, because when I first went to CEO space, my company was up and running. And I never went through the branding process, but I had a logo, built the company up, and felt like I was doing, fairly successful. I ended up closing the company after 10 years for a number of different reasons, but we won't go into that. Those are those gems that somebody can share so that you can avoid those costly mistakes. However, right now, I've started this new venture last year. I've created 4 events around the Business Acceleration Summit, and it's like the branding keeps coming up at the forefront. And I have to tell you, in the past, I had a mindset of, and I think this is true too. I want to talk a little bit about this, and maybe you can help strategize on this. But that concept of we got to get people into revenue, like that. Mm-hmm. That's what makes people go. But I am having the most challenging time having the impact that I want out to the marketplace, and I know it's because of my brand. I know it's because I don't have the clear message. I can talk to people one-on-one, but it's exhausting. Mm-hmm. And it's not, I'm really seeing loud and clear as I'm even talking to people going, wow, I'm not a branding expert by any means. My area of expertise is events and marketing and free publicity. But what would you say to somebody who has, like in my case, I was up and running and in business. So I had that mindset of I didn't need it. But now that I'm starting this out, even though it's been a year, I feel like it is crucial for where I'm at to go to that next level. Can you talk about those two things? Is that okay? The business? Okay, great. Is it okay I'm putting you on the spot like this?
Oh, no, this is my pleasure. That's, my mind's like that. I want challenge and the ability to be spontaneous, improvise, and have a real conversation is where I thrive, indeed. Awesome. Yeah, so if I get to have the question right, like you're in the middle of the process, so you're up and running, and you're noticing that you're having problems with the messaging.
Yeah, I would go ahead and just, let's talk about the past, because I think that was
Hmm.
key, where I had the mindset of, my business, when you and I met, my business was up and running for 6 years,
Right.
and I had
Right.
this logo, and it was
Hmm.
working, but I also look back, and so how would you say for somebody that maybe has not been through that process of branding, even if they're up and running and have years behind their belt and repeat
Hmm.
customers and things like that, because I do see that did have an impact on me in not a positive way. Can you
Right.
talk about
Yeah.
that?
I think it's easy to rush it. It's kind of like this thing that we just don't know we're supposed to do in a way. And it's kind of like getting a warm up before you go on a run or a workout. And you got to just slow down and stretch and make the investment. And, the slow down to speed up is usually my mantra for that. Is if you can just give yourself a little bit of time. And I think it's really easy to cut corners. I've done it. You're an entrepreneur, you're like, I know my business better than anybody. I think this is a good name. I think this is the message. And you run with it, and you're going to run with your instincts and trust them. And so I think nobody's to blame for just wanting to move ahead and go forward quickly, and to imagine another consultant or another collaborator who's working with you on the branding. It sounds like, another thing in the way sometimes. And, so for me, what I love is when people actually like, I get how much I need branding, and they just like knock on my door and they're like, let's go. I mean, that's my favorite, because they know whether they've been told by somebody or they've gotten the right education. But it's really hard to, convince people going in that they really need it until they've kind of gotten enough
We're
of a business
at a
exposure.
meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Or,
like,
they've gone through it once and like, I think next time I'm going to spend a little more time on the development of the brand, you know. And years ago, like 10 years ago, I really said, your brand is not a logo, because it seemed like a decade ago, branding was really about, oh yeah, you got to have a nice logo. But what I'm really interested in is alignment, in a word. And brand alignment is about finding the heart of that business and the drive of that business, and then getting the language so it connects between who you are and that passion in the market. And then once we get that figured out, the design's great, and we need design. We need to, make distinctions, but we got to start from the heart passion. So that's something, I do a lot of rebrands, a ton of rebrands actually, because people realize, yeah.
okay.
So they're in it, they've been in it, and they're like, we got some things off, and they realize it, and they're like, let's bring somebody in and get some fresh insight and ideas, um, and so I do a lot of that. In fact, I'd probably do more of that than startups.
Okay. Yeah, and that's the one thing, the reason I'm saying that question. And hi, Marty, I see that you just joined us. Please, this is Mastermind. This is interactive. There's a live, there's a live link, or if you want to make the request to join us, we'd love to have you join on the camera. If you have a challenge or a goal that you're working on, please put that in the chat room. We'd love to be able to strategize. I'm kind of, just, Chris joined us. He's a branding expert, so I'm kind of taking the reins of what I know is a common challenge with a lot of businesses that I deal with, and I'm just being vulnerable, sharing my own challenge right now, is that, Chris, I actually worked with somebody that came to one of my events as a branding expert, and she hit me so hard when she said, and now now she's doing other things. So I'm excited that you joined us. I might be one of your clients to talk to. But she said, Shannon, either you can leave 15 to 20 impressions, or you can leave 4 or 5 impressions. She said that it actually, when you've taken the time, like you said, to slow down on the front end and develop that message and develop that brand, that it takes a lot less time and a lot less marketing dollars and a lot less effort, I guess is the word I'm looking for, to get the return. Is that something that you find true?
Mm-hmm. I would say absolutely, yeah. It's just when you know who you are and you really position yourself from that place and define you in the marketplace with your mark, who you are, and to really get it and to internalize that process, you're a totally different entity, whether business entity, individual entity. You're powerful. When you get to know who you are and you walk in knowing who you are, you know it. You're just like you embody it. It's a process, and it's a process even when I brand for people to kind of walk into the identity that's already there, that wants to. The container's bigger than they are sometimes, so they're reaching towards filling that as they get past old stuff, so to speak. Get past old identities and layers of that are there to step into it. And so in a way, I'm helping to be something of what's sorry, the what's the midwife. That's the word.
Yeah.
In a way, to really help them in the process, because this is about you. You as the driver of your organization, and I'm going to stand next to you and support you and be there for you as you step into a deeper sense of alignment and connection with that bigger brand. And that's what I hold. I call myself a brand visionary because I'm really looking for that really big open space that the organization's moving towards.
That's great. So, yay. So anybody have any questions about branding, marketing? I'm so glad that you've joined. We'll have to collaborate after this too, because I'm definitely, I just started a 3-month course. One of the things that I do is help people develop their press kit and their press release and go out to that marketplace and tap into some of the, there's thousands of dollars of free publicity out there, and a lot of people just don't know how to get it. And it's about language, and I came up with a really simple system that anybody can do. You don't have to be a good writer. You can be even just starting your business and not a celebrity or have a big name. And when people follow this system, it becomes, helps create that story and become a magnet for the media. And just how to always, I don't know if you've found this, Chris, but I think that there are so many stories that people can tell to attract business, and the media loves human interest stories. They love community give back, education. There's a lot that they can tie into. So as I meet individuals, I would probably need to be saying, where are you with your brand? Because do you find that a lot of people were like me, where they skip that, they're out of sequence, they skip that process?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or it's rushed, or it's people that don't have a knack for it. Obviously, people are probably going to hire a designer for the logo, but they're not necessarily going to hire somebody who's going to help with real messaging, getting that clear, and real positioning from the outset. And it's really neat to know what you're up to. So awesome. I have lots of people to share your work with.
Perfect. I just realized, Marty, I'm sorry, usually it comes up, but we have a couple of things here. Jacqueline is listening. Marty is going through rebranding and keeps getting stuck. How do I join the conversation? So Jacqueline, if you go ahead and just type in here in the chat room, I'm seeing it now, so I'm sorry, somehow it wasn't popping up, but now I have it on my screen. You can add anything. So let me go ahead, and I'm going to give you the live link now. If you click on that link in the chat room, that should allow you to join us via video. So I just posted that link again. Marty shared she has createconfidentkids.com and discoveryourpowerwithincoach.com. She says her present websites, or those are her present websites. She's creating Marty L. Ward, where she's combining those two sites, and I'm adding care providers too. Target is entrepreneurs. Creating Marty L. Ward, where she's combining those two sites. There we go. Now I'm muting it. Marty, you'll be able to unmute as we've got a little bit of feedback as you get in. If you have a headset, that can help too. But if not, when you go to talk. so entrepreneurs create confident kids to eliminate bullying and workplace bullying. So I've personally known Marty for a number of years. She's also a CEO Space grad, and it's been, you know, her nonprofit. And I have to say, one time I was stuck. I was doing these events in Hawaii for a retreat, and we were at a networking event. Marty, I will never forget this. You may not remember, but I do. Oh, you remember? And and she helps people stop procrastination and get unstuck. And sometimes, you know, things happen for a reason, and things are on purpose. But mine was really like some mental stuckness. And within like 10 minutes of having a conversation with her, it was so quick. She just shifted my perspective, and me being stuck was really affecting my bottom line, which I'm hoping today in the Mastermind, my intention is to talk a little bit about revenues and getting into revenues, because I know we have a lot of people, just that whole mindset of attracting money. And so Marty, it was incredible how my limiting belief was really keeping me stuck in taking my retreat to the next level. I had just, you know, a couple of thoughts that were going on in my head, and from talking to Marty, and she just, I don't know how she did it. She said a few things, and it was like this zing, and I could feel myself sitting up straighter, and kind of like what you were talking about, Chris. I can imagine after you get your brand straight. It was like, I was like, I'm going to do this thing. And from that moment forward, it just, everything unfolded with just a big, you know, big success. So thank you, Marty, for that 10-minute rewiring of my brain. It was beautiful. So Marty, do you want to do a quick intro? I did a little intro for you, but let's hear from you. Do you know how to unmute yourself?
Yep. Am I on?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hi, Chris. Yes, let's see. I don't know where to start. You already did. I mean, I've been a success coach for 10 years. I'm passionate about eliminating bullying because when Ashlyn Connor, a 10-year-old little girl, hung herself, I said, enough. It's time to change. So I've created Create Confident Kids to Eliminate Bullying. I founded the nonprofit organization, and now I realize that, of course, there's bullying in the workplace, and so one of the areas that's has a lot of problem with that is nurses. So I've created a 5 steps to avoid burnout program for nurses, and my manifestation is getting ahead of where I'm at in reality. And I have the potential of having a meeting with a CEO from a local hospital about this. And as well as I met a man who is a national representative to help schools make money, and they have a little bullying program. But their bullying program is just an app. And so I'm meeting with him, which potentially, I mean, I don't know yet, of course, for either of these, but potentially if this guy likes my program and he's already national, then I could whoosh and go national in theory. So I was taking my websites and making one, martylward.com, and then doing 3 silos: entrepreneurs, kids, and adults. And the kids and adults are about bullying. And the entrepreneurs is about kissing procrastination goodbye. So that's as short as I could possibly figure out how to tell. So it's branding. So I usually wear a captain's hat because I am a captain, and Bernie from CEO Space said, Marty, kids love uniforms, wear uniforms. So people around town now know me. If I don't have on my captain's hat, they ask me where it is. So I've been thinking of taking my signature and putting a captain's hat on the M, part of the M, or someplace in my signature, and that would become my overall brand, or not brand, overall logo-y kind of thing, because with the kids, I have the sailboat. I welcome kids aboard the relationship, a relationship with themselves, their family, and their school. So I've used the boat. Do I have me? I don't even have a picture of me with my hat on. Oh, how funny. Anyway, I usually have a picture of me with my hat. Oh, here. There I am.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the hat I wear around town. So I don't know if that's enough of a.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
great. So do you have, and it sounds like you had a branding thing, or is there a specific goal or
Yeah.
challenge?
In other words, how do I bring it all together? In other words, I've
Right.
got the idea was either the M or the L. Marty L. Ward is my name because if you type in Marty Ward, you end up with a lacrosse player.
Mm-hmm.
So, does the hat, do I do the hat on the L or put it on top of the M?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good idea? It's
Right.
I am a captain. I have a 100-ton
Right.
captain's license, ran a sailing school and all this other stuff.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, so it fits. I mean, it's not like I'm making it up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, I've just pulled up your website also here.
The Marty L. Ward is under construction, just so you know.
Okay, sure, cool. It's looking good already. I can see where it's going. Yeah, so what I heard about the 3 silos: entrepreneurs, kids, and adults. And
Yes,
you have bullying, procrastination.
that's it. Bullying and
Those are
procrastination.
the 2. Okay. Okay.
And so it's nurses at the moment. It's nurses who are being bullied, and then kids, of course, and then teachers, kids,
Mm-hmm.
the whole school bit and kids.
Right. Right. And so the main thing is, how do I tie it all together? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So the short answer is I can't tell you, immediately how to pull it together, nor what I generally try to do is look for umbrella brands for a lot of ideas and how we can bring them together and connect them. And so one of the ways, obviously, what you're going ahead and doing is using your name, personality. You might call it a personality brand. And so basically, this is my work, and I work in these ways, and these are my passions in these ways, right? And then within that, you might actually have individual brands with individual websites specific to the bullying, specific to procrastination, that might be their own brand names around that. And obviously, there's a niche with bullying and nurses, which is something I hadn't even thought of before. And procrastination, there's a lot of established procrastination material out there as far as I know.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I do everything different. Yes, you are correct. There's a lot of it out there, but it doesn't work. And I've created something that works.
Right, cool. So I'm really just saying there's a marketplace where there's a conversation about it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there's conversations out there on that, and so I think it's fabulous. You have something new to offer that way. So you might consider the main website, your name website, to be the place where you get to share all your passions. Here's all the places that I'm working, and then go here and then go into that. I think it's probably stronger for you to present a brand around nurses and bullying as its own entity.
Put those together.
I would say that one specifically. With the procrastination, you might decide that you really want to associate your name and procrastination together with your system. Or you might want to name that system as its own thing. So it's kind of giving you a few ideas.
Yep. My nonprofit will be called Confidence Eliminates Bullying. So the nonprofit could cover, instead of my website that's now Create Confident Kids, that website could be converted into Confidence Creates Bullying, and eliminates bullying. That name even works for a website, but anyway. And then and put the 2 under there. And workplace bullying. I'm just picking nurses, but there's workplace bullying. We get bullied every day. We get bullied by ourselves, and then we get bullied by a lot of people in our lives.
Right.
Inadvertently or advertently. So then make one website for the bullying. Okay.
Yeah, I actually think that works. You know, I'm doing everything based on like little exposure. But confidence eliminates bullying as a container, and then the focus mostly on workplace, but also children, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's where, you know, like I have a family coming today. I met yesterday at an event, and they were like, "Oh my God, I need you tomorrow," you know, and so they're here. So anyway, yeah. Okay.
It's great. Yeah, it's good. You've given me a lot of challenge here.
Well, when I get the logo, I'll show you what the person came up with. I haven't seen it yet, but
Sure.
you like that with the captain's hat? That's all I would ask.
So the Mary L. Ward, the way it's
Marty.
written, but with the captain's hat.
Marty L. Ward, yeah, the signature.
Excuse me.
The
Yeah,
signature.
signature. And the captain's hat would be on the L.
Well, we were thinking the L or on top of one of the M's, and then get rid of the dragonfly. The dragonfly's gone.
Okay.
And then, so instead it would just be the captain's hat, kind of. I thought it was kind of saucy and cute. And in my community, you know, it's kind of just cute and saucy.
Sure. Yeah, and I can't comment too much on it yet. It's just until I actually see it.
Okay.
But you know, I think it's going to come down to what does your big identity look like, and then the projects that you have within that.
Okay.
You know, so in one way, I'd keep it super simple, and if the captain's hat works because that fits your identity really well, then that fits as well. And then, you know, then you have your different projects where you get to have new brands with new expressions as well.
Okay.
I think it's probably going to be at where I would say see you going.
All right.
Without knowing a lot.
Yes. No, you did great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And where are you at?
Oh, go ahead.
Excuse me?
Where are you at?
I'm in Florida. I live near Shannon.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Perfect. I want to make sure we get to meet Jacqueline, but I was also going to add, Marty, congrats on the meetings. One of the things that I know that you're working on is that revenue stream, and so
yeah, that'd be good.
That conversation around you know, revenue, and one of the things that I shared, I think on the last one, was just how important it is just showing up in that conversation, and you're doing a prime example of that, of still you know, seeing the possibility, seeing what's open, and I use the word explore. It's like, let's explore and see what's possible. This is where one of the things with brand confusion, and I don't know, Chris, what you have to say about this, but I'm realizing that as I show up in different conversations, I have to be mindful, even though I have a lot of things in my toolbox, to not create brand confusion with people, because that usually leads to a no. And so just being mindful, because when you say, how do I pull it all together, I tend to do a little bit of a inquiry and finding that matchmaking, so that I, when I don't have my brand together, am able to keep it simple and clear and concise to support what they're needing in that collaboration. So the more research you can do, the more you know, ahead of time, but also taking that time to, as Alex Mendozian would say, is doing a lot of questioning so that you can kind of fit in those pieces. Because again, when we're wearing a lot of hats and we start pulling out all of those hats, it does create a lot of confusion for people. And I know that your business, you know, if you're meeting with a guy that can get into the schools and bullying, he doesn't need to hear about the nurses. He doesn't need to hear about the procrastination, unless, you know, the questioning does different. But really keeping it specific to that individual's needs, so that you can avoid that confusion.
Yeah, because I have no idea what to charge the hospital. I'm meeting with someone today in the hopes of getting some idea. I have no idea.
Okay, so
I charge too much, they won't hire me, you know.
Do you know Linda Cobb?
Yeah.
Okay, Linda Cobb has secured over $1 million in corporate contracts with hospitals.
Right, and
so,
she and I had an hour's conversation. Okay.
And she gets $1,500 to $3,500, if I remember correctly, per speaking gig, and it could be an hour to 3 hours. with the hospital. I don't know, but this again, when I like that you went down to not knowing what to charge. That's where I find a lot of people are, when it comes to attracting the money, it's like you know, pulling from those resources. Linda Cobb is amazing. She may be somebody that you might want to hire just for a short time to help develop that proposal. Donna Anselmo is also another individual who is just a rock star at getting proposals, but because it's in the health industry, is that correct? I'm on.
Yes.
Yeah. I would definitely suggest Linda Cobb, because that's her area of expertise. And I've sat in meetings with her and my husband and multiple people, and she really understands all of the inner workings of hospitals and has been paid, I mean, over $1 million. So she'll probably be able to guide you with the proposal and pricing.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Anybody else? Jacqueline, I'm so glad you're here. Anybody else want to add anything to Marty? Any closing statements before we introduce Jacqueline? Yay. Hopefully that was helpful, Marty.
Yes. Yes.
Well, Jacqueline, I'm so glad you made it. Jacqueline also has, now you have to hit unmute. I cannot unmute you. So it's at the top of your screen, and you just hit the microphone button, and there you go. So if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
How do I mute?
I just muted you, Marty.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jacqueline Chandler, and I have an organization titled I Am Proof. And Proof is it's a group mentoring program for boys 11 through 18. We're in the process of changing the age group now from 13 to 18. And we teach life skills and life experiences for boys. Not so much as the at-risk children, but for all boys that go through this growth spurt that they start at about 12 or 13 years old and not understand the behaviors and attitudes that they display in school, which leads to the pipeline to prison, so school to prison pipeline, because of a lot of inappropriate behaviors that are, how would you say, that are not criminal behavior. I'm not sure if that's the right word. I'm sure it's not. But it's not criminal behavior, but it leads to the juvenile justice system. So I am is a powerful word because we want them to learn that they are important and they do have the skills to be successful. So proof is to promote responsibility, opportunity, and outcome through faith and self-determination. I've been trying to be in business for the last 2.5 years. Really enjoyed. We've had several different projects with the Boys and Girls Club, with community centers, and different organizations. Hopefully, I'm going to start another project with a faith-based organization next month for 5 sessions. We'll be doing 16 to 18-year-olds, and that's really going to be a challenging group, but I'm really up for it. I'm really passionate for this because boys have gone, I think that they're the forgotten humans because we set them up for competitive experiences. However, we don't set them up for success through empathy, communications, and all of those things. So, and then plus I'm coming from a family that had 4 boys, and I watched some of the things that happened to them. And my mother was a single parent. So some of the things that happened to them also happened to, I'm retired military, and I saw those young men coming into the military as well without the skills that they needed to succeed. So that's me.
Thank you. So I know that you have a specific goal that please leave it on because you're okay now. Marty's muted, and I know you have a specific goal, but I just wanted to say you sent me a taste of your elevator pitch. Do you mind sharing that stat? Because I think starting out with that information, it really captured my attention. Do you mind sharing that?
Oh, good. I'm glad that it did. Okay, I wrote it down. Give me a second here.
Yeah, Chris, things that I share when people are in my program is the power of statistics, you know, that having that third-party validation of the problem. And she really, you know, numbers stand out a little bit, so she sent me one, and I was really blown away, and it's in direct proportion of her audience. So go ahead.
So during the presentation, I say, do you know a public school student is suspended every second and a half? This equates to 3.3 million students. I am proof will assist, so that stat was that 3.3 million students.
Is that 3.3 million a year, or is it
students to identify? Well, I'm scrambling here, and this just tells about what I Am Proof will do. But the 3.3 million students are suspended every day or every second and a half.
Okay, so you said every second, so 3.3, would that be every year? I'm just trying to figure out the math.
Annually, annually.
Okay, so you want to include that, because that's another thing when you're giving facts. If people have to start doing math, then they lose the rest of your thing. So you want to make sure you include that annually, which is cool. So
yeah, I think I put that in what I sent you annually.
So you have a specific challenge that you came to the mastermind today with. How can we best support you? We have like 10 minutes left, so I want to make sure we give you some time.
It's really getting the word out and getting people interested in this issue, because it is a problem. We see that in our society right now that boys aren't really getting a good platform to talk, because of course the generation has changed. However, it remains the same, because we tend to teach our children, we socialize our children to do the same things that we did. Even though we're saying that this is a different generation, they're still seeing the world as through our eyes. And parents aren't really involved in this process. It's important that parents get involved in order to entice the children.
Okay, and you also shared, if it's okay, that, you know, getting the message out, but also the funding of the organization too.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So
my husband and I and a few friends have funded this program for the 2.5 years. We have received some funding, you know, from the bank and from other acquaintances I have made, like the Rotary Club and places like that. However, we're not bringing any money in or getting the interest that I think that we should have.
Okay, so is your revenue stream, does that, if somebody signs up for your workshop, is that a profitable, like if we sent you possible clients, would that bring revenue to the business? Because I thought that was free.
Well, it is a nonprofit, so no, when the young people come, it's free to them, but we continuously ask for donations. We tell them how much, which is $175 per student, to be a part of this program. So when I go out, I make sure that I tell people how much it costs and what they're paying for, and then I give the donation cards. I have donation cards that I leave with them, and sometimes we get answers and sometimes we don't.
Okay, you said something that really stood out for me, and then Chris, and I'd love to hear Chris and Marty some feedback. You said with a lot of emphasis, it is a nonprofit. And
it is a nonprofit. I
just want you to know, and then you tied it to free. I just want you to know that we live in a town with a beautiful organization called We Venture. It is a nonprofit, and they charge very, very, very heavily for their services. So just because something is a nonprofit does not mean that it has to be free. Yeah. So it's great to offer services. Now, they do offer services for people that need them, but there might be some mindset shift there that you might want to, you know, for me, maybe looking at other nonprofits. I am so enthralled by business models and money flow. I mean, that's one of the things that just, it gets my juices flowing. So when I go into an organization, the first thing I say is, okay, where's your revenue come from? What's the money flow? So I would invite you to really look at other nonprofits, that how they make a lot of money. They charge, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but I think their bottom minimum thing is like $700, and that's for 3 one-hour sessions over 3 months, and all of those are volunteers that come together. So when I looked at their business model, and they're beautiful, they're a wonderful business incubator, because I was doing research on my events, it's like they're a nonprofit and they make a heck of a lot of money. So somehow, Jacqueline, I invite you to, maybe find 3 nonprofits that could be role models or study their income stream, because just because you're a nonprofit does not mean that you cannot make money.
Okay. And I probably should take that word free out of my vocabulary, off of my website as well.
Yeah, I would probably say those in need, we do have a sponsorship program. You know what I mean? Something along that. Chris, do you have any feedback on this?
Gosh, I think that's smart, what you're just saying. I think it's really important. Just looking at the positioning, right now the logo and the visual expression is low resolution, and looks like it was done by a volunteer, and rather than say graphics artist professional. And so essentially it's just up-leveling your game, and people want strong organizations to be a part of and want to connect to that. And so being in a position of strength in the ways you can be, the really small ways, like having a visually beautiful logo is something really important, and shows strength. A lot of the nonprofits, and I've worked with nonprofits here in Salt Lake City, where I'm at, a lot of nonprofits, and there's some really big ones like Make-A-Wish Foundation. They look amazing. They put a lot of work into presentation, and so I would definitely encourage you to up-level the presentation side of it, and and go find a couple allies, a couple rich allies who are really willing to put in some money investment into this, and go for it. I mean, I work with, I'm a venture scout leader, so I'm the assistant, and we work with ages 15 to 21, and I completely feel the need for this organization and what you do, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm really excited about what you're offering, and know that this is super important. And so you also look for your positioning. How are you different than Boy Scouts? And on and on, little things like that, to just and I don't know a lot about the organization yet, so I'm just throwing out ideas. But I don't know. Any thoughts or feedback on that, Jacqueline?
Yes, I did research the other groups, the Boy Scouts and Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and we do the life skills training in seminars, 2.5 hours each session, and we actually have a graduation. They receive a bracelet saying that I am proof. Can you see my bracelet? Once they graduate, and they have a certificate. And after the session is over, there are 5 sessions, and we deal specifically with how you see yourself, how others see you, and how you want to be seen. We talk about making those sound decisions, and they're able to participate in discussions. We have mentors, at least 2 or 3 mentors there per session. So I may be an instructor, however, I lean heavily on the young men that are there to talk to them about that subject matter and try to make it relevant for what they're going through at the time. If they're going through anything, or we share. So, and it works best as a group because they tend to share with each other more so than one-on-one. So that's how I see us as different than other groups.
That's fabulous. I was just thinking about a mutual friend that Shannon and I have, Lisa Coltman, and you might know Lisa Coltman. She's now more of an author and speaker, but she started working with teens, at-risk teens, going back 10, 15 years ago. And I think what's really exciting in the way that Lisa Coltman presents is this vision of eliminating suicides. And she said, I'm going to eliminate 100,000 suicides in my organization. And sometimes having a big vision like that whether you're focused locally at the state level or nationally or moving towards nationally. In the expression and vision of what you're doing, it might be really exciting to really get people on board with this sense of we're going to keep men out of jail and moving towards career, and and they're out developing their lives and their careers and their education and becoming productive young men, whatever that kind of expression is.
Right.
Super exciting. Maybe you've already done that too. I'm just kind of throwing out ideas of
Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, part of our vision on our website is to be the premier mentoring program for schools, parents, life, faith-based organizations, and community centers. So maybe I should make it more compelling.
Well, sometimes you do things that are kind of almost pie in the sky, but only approaching pie in the sky. You're reaching for the moon, and you're saying we really want to reach out and touch this many boys' lives and create the impact. To just kind of put that in there potentially might be fun and get you really excited.
Okay.
As well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. So I know we're at the top of the hour. If you guys could spend 5 more minutes with me, I had one specific topic that I know is a common theme. Do you guys mind sharing, I know Jacqueline and Marty, you guys are raising money. I know do you guys, just to throw in the pot, ideas on, steps, tools, strategies, important key components to attracting capital for your business? Now, they're nonprofits, so that's a little bit different. Are you guys okay spending 5 more minutes just on that topic?
Yes.
And if you need, we can say goodbye, and thank you so much. And Chris, I'm so glad you came. Hopefully you will join us more, because this is a really, you have some gems that, as I said, for 10 years, I was just like, oh, let me just ignore that. And I think one of the things that I'm glad that you're here. You showed up for a reason today for me.
Thank you.
So what are some ideas? I know with Jacqueline, you in specific, I said, having that sponsor or donor or underwriter, looking for somebody that's willing to underwrite your project, somebody that can get behind what you're doing. I was one of the input that I was given a while back that I thought was great, especially around a nonprofit, is making those relationships with financial advisors, because they deal with people that are passing or looking for organizations to underwrite to, asking friends, who do you know that could get behind this, but really being comfortable asking. I know that was one of the things that I've sensed with people, and I've been there also myself. With
that's my major problem, asking. So I haven't really gone to a company per se to ask, because I don't know how to. I'm doing well asking the Rotary Club or places like that I can get $100 from or $200 from. But to go to Harris or any large companies to ask, I haven't been able to spit that out yet.
And for me, and Chris, and I can't wait to hear your guys' other input. For me, when I have things kind of down on paper, I know for my events, when I'm looking for sponsors and things like that, when I have a little bit of clarity on paper, then it makes it easier for me to ask. I don't know if that's the case for you. There may be some emotional stuff, there may be some other things, but also if you don't have a clearly defined, and I shared with you, Jacqueline, maybe you say sponsor a kid for a year, sponsor a kid for 6 months, maybe some sort of packaging to where they get behind what it is that they're actually doing with the money, kind of helping them connect that dot. But there are people right now that will get behind what you're doing and be happy to write you a check. You do have to ask. You do have to ask. That's a key thing. Chris, do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I've been working with a nonprofit here in town. What they do is they do a lot of private and local government work together. So they'll go get grants from the local government specifically, for one. And then two, they're really good at talking to the wealthy people in the community. And they've been around a while and they know how to do it. So what I would suggest is getting mentors, finding somebody who's been there, done that within this class of you know, of the kinds of people you're going after, and seeing if you can get just a few hours with them of insight into how to structure things. Because basically it's positioning. It's coming from a place of strength. It's coming from a place of knowing what you've got. And part of that, as I said, is the graphics and, you know, getting that messaging there, and you come in from that place, and then you have a little bit of backing behind you, you know, with the support systems you've been getting from mentors, and you're like, I know what I got. I'm going to go and get it. And that's how you know, you really want to walk in there with that kind of positioning, and people are going to respond. They're going to respond with your clarity. So, you know, a lot of this work is just internal, personal work, as getting strong and getting clearly ready psychologically to walk in the door and knock on that door and ask for what you want.
Okay, I need to work on me then.
Don't we all?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Marty, did you? And I love what you said about finding. It's amazing that the woman, I don't know if you guys heard in the beginning, where the Take the Millionaire to Lunch. I just one day, by asking for help, going, I'm trying to figure out how to do this and this and this and this, and by asking for help, she actually pulled out her checkbook and wrote me a check. She goes, oh, well, I would love help, you know, and I didn't. What I was asking for had nothing to do with her business. There was no reason other than she wanted to help me, and I was asking for her wisdom help. So I think, Chris, that's a great thing of finding people that have done it and asked for help. You might have a surprise like that.
Going, you know, connecting with boards, seeing where does Harris give its money? I mean, I have to do the same work that Jacqueline has to do. But,
I know.
And Jacqueline, it sounds like if your stuff isn't quite up to snuff, it's been a blessing that you haven't gone yet. Me too. I'm not really ready. I mean, I wished I were ready. First of all, I'm waiting for my 501c3 to come true. It should be here in a couple of weeks. But you know, that's one thing, of course. And then the other thing is us being really ready so that when they go to our website, which they're going to, it looks, you know, like something they want to be attached to. And then seeing where does Harris give its money, for instance. What boards are they on? And then you go to the Goodwill event because the Harris people go to the Goodwill event, and therefore you get to talk to the Harris people because they're at the Goodwill event. You know, and so it's really seeing what other boards they're on, what those board members are on. I ran into the CEO, the CFO, and the COO of Wusthof Hospital at Wednesday Friends Day and girded my loin and walked up and talked to the CEO of Wusthof, and that's how I may have this, you know, I'm waiting for a call. I've gotten a call. I'm waiting for another call from them and to take the next step. But that was just like, OMG, 1, 2, 3, hi, you know, kind of thing, and talking with my captain's hat, and I got to chat and got to talk about boats and did a chitty-chatty, and then said, gee whiz, you know. So, you know, it's really that, and connecting. You know, I made a connection before I said anything. We did the whole boat thing, which was a nice lead-in.
Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Jacqueline, do you have any input to this? If we were coming to you for input on how to get money or attract money or be magnetic, what would you share? Now you're muted, and then we'll close this.
Okay. Am I unmuted?
You're unmuted. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, you know, I've in this past 2.5 years, I think I've reached out and touched as many people as I can, and it's sort of disheartening when, you know, you go out and you talk, you put yourself out there, and people say, oh, wonderful, that's a great program, but there's no return on the investment. So it's difficult. I will continue to try. I do. Like I said, I do go to all of these events. I've joined more events than I really can afford to join. I've paid a lot of money out for my website. I tell you, I've had 2 different websites. They're very, very costly. Very costly. And as a nonprofit with nothing coming in and everything's coming out of my retirement paycheck, it's hard to keep doing it over and over again without somebody saying, well, here's your website. We'll update this for you, or we'll do this. So I sort of got I guess ready to pull back, and then I keep telling myself this is a great program. It's a needed program. The boys will appreciate this. The parents will appreciate this. And so I'm really at a standstill, and now I'm going to take your advice, Shannon, and contact some people and go sit down and talk with them and try to partner with agencies and see if that would help. So that's my journey now, is to make contact and partner with some agencies to see if we can put this program out, because it really is something that's needed right now.
Yes. So go ahead, Marty, real quick.
Well, I just, Jacqueline, why don't we talk offline? But I have a resource for a website. I have people in the Philippines who are making my new website for $7 an hour.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that I add that you caught that I would not go until you're positioned and ready. And Chris, I'm so glad that you're here talking about the brand. I would not go after really, really, really large organizations. You might, I don't know, you didn't make it to our last event, did you? We had one of the board members from the United Way locally. So I would just be mindful of...
I was there. He was at our table.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said, so did you talk to him?
I haven't heard from him again. I gave him a call.
Okay.
And then I talked with our local United Way people. So,
okay.
Yeah, so now we're at this standstill. What can you offer me? Yes.
Let me know if you need help with that, because he definitely said that he would.
Right. I remember.
Yeah, let me know. So, wow, there was a lot of great ideas. My mind's percolating. And I don't know, I had this blocked for an hour. We may in the future do it a little bit longer. I'm kind of playing with this. I see the need. I see incredible people. I feel like we have some great resources, some great projects, and hopefully today was helpful for each one of you. What's going on and things that we can play with and collaborate. I'd love just to hear a closing remark if anybody has a final remark, and then it's going to be next, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday, and I moved it to 1:30. I'm kind of testing times, 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. And again, you know, if you have a goal or a challenge, the clearer you can come in and articulate with your pitch, then you can, you know, this is being broadcast out to other people, so it's great you guys are getting publicity beyond just the group that's here, but also coming with that goal or that challenge and being vulnerable, really saying, this is what I need help with, because ideally, we got some great money ideas here, and I know that that is a flow that a lot of people are wanting to attract more of. So hopefully some of this was helpful. And Chris, you are a rock star. So I'm so glad you're here. Look at Marty. She's like, yay! And just my next event is June 22nd and 23rd, Business Acceleration Summit. We have a lot of great things in store for the next event. So we'll be launching some new stuff. So Chris, I'm so glad that hopefully I can talk to you sooner than later, because I think you are divine. Just a quick check, you know, but just in closing, any closing remarks, any aha moment? Real short and sweet though, because we're already a little bit over. Marty, do you want to go first?
Just it was helpful. It was great to have this moment, you know, to get together. Chris, thank you so much. And Shannon, thank you for putting it together. You're fabulous. You keep coming up with great ideas. And so we'll see it building and bringing in other people so we can mastermind more.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Chris, thank you so very much. And Shannon, you know, you're the love of my life. So help me through this process. And Chris, it was a pleasure meeting you, and thank you for the feedback. I'll see what I can do about the sharpness of the website, okay, so I'll see if I can get someone on that, or I'll just talk with, we'll just talk, Marty, and see if you can help me out with that. I appreciate it.
And,
Okay,
and
welcome.
Chris, I would love at some point maybe you can share ways of it getting involved with you. Maybe you can email that to me and I can send it to other people, or if that's on your website, like if somebody wanted to get involved with some of what you.
Website? What
Well,
is
my
it?
website's brandweaver.tv.
Okay. Brandweaver.tv.
Okay.
Yeah, and Jacqueline, I just got from you when I had asked, don't give up, keep going, surround yourself with amazing people. Thanks for being here and thanks for trusting me. I really appreciate it. All right, Christopher, closing remarks.
Yeah, well, thanks. It was great to be on. I felt inspired. I just decided to jump in and make a contribution any way I can, and I appreciate all the contributions back as well. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, with that, let's have a great week and talk to you guys in a couple of weeks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.